Welcome back to my workshop. Now today, very quick video. About 5 years ago I made some garden stakes. These are for the vegetable patch and they're literally battens of wood which I've engraved the vegetables that they're saying what's there. But these have been in the garden for about 5 years, 4 or 5 years, and they're looking a little bit sorry for themselves. So this video is basically, let's see if I can revitalise these by a bit of sanding and a bit of cleaning up. So let's see if we can do that. So obviously the first thing we've got to do is clean off some of the mud. Now obviously these are stuck in the ground up to about here, so they get covered in mud. The mud, obviously some of them are dry, but this one is still a bit wet, so I'm going to have to dry this out first. But first thing to do, get some of the mud off. Scraper, that's what I do. Scraper. Well, that didn't take long. Got most of the mud off of them just by literally using a scraper. Started off using this one, but it was too sharp, so I was digging into it. Use Old Faithful here, which is slightly blunter. Mud off. Then I went over it quickly with a knackered old wire brush just to get the rest of the mud off. Right. This one here, which is damp, I'm going to go and put this in front of the heater to try and dry it out. Leave that going while I try to address the letters. Now obviously I want to repaint these letters, but I don't just want to paint over it and then sand it back, because there's no protection on these now, and what will happen is the paint will soak into the wood. So what I'm going to have to do is quickly go over these with a stiff brush, and what I'm going to use is one of these. Stole it out of the kitchen. Quickly brush through all the letters to make sure there's no dirt in the letters, and then give this a slight coating of shellac. And then when I paint it, I can sand it back and it'll all be good. Okay, so this, and this. Let's get going. Right, while they're drying here, let's point in the right place here. Okay, I put a coat of shellac over the letters, and then I've let that dry. I'm drying out the one that was damp. Just a quick mention on how I made these in the first place. May not be very interesting, but these are actually made out of an old garden table. It was a hardwood garden table which was a bit broken. So the wood itself was okay. It's all different types of wood, but it's all hardwood. If you're going to make these for your garden, try and use hardwood. If you use softwood, it probably won't last as long. But basically all I did was cut it into these batten sizes, cut 45s on the end, and then basically sanded it all down. And this I actually did on the CNC machine, but you can do it just using a Dremel with some quite good results. I've probably got to make another one of these because I think we're probably going to be growing something different next year as well. So I've probably got to do one that says garlic or beetroot or something, and I'll have to try and get it to match these. But these are a nice addition to your garden, just for your vegetable patch. Right, let's see if these are dry. Okay, so these have been sitting in front of the heater for a while now. What I'm going to do is just paint these, and what I'm going to use is just some water-based acrylic. You probably can't even see that. I think I got these from the pound shop, so very cheap. Doesn't have to be anything special because it's going to be coated in teak oil afterwards anyway. So I'm just going to apply it with a little paintbrush, which I also got from a pound shop. So these don't cost much. So quickly go over all the letters and then let that dry. So let's get on with that. Okay, so they're all now covered in paint. Just got to wait for that to dry before we go to the exciting bit of sanding it back. So I'll leave those to dry for a while. Clean my brush so I can use that again. Right, let's find something to do until that's dry. Cup of tea. Okay, while I'm waiting for those to dry, what I want to do is quickly change these. Now I've done these at 45 degrees, but sometimes that's a bit difficult to get in the ground. So what I'm going to do is increase that angle, so it's a bit more pointy, so it goes in the ground easier, which means you haven't got to hit the top so hard. So what I'm going to do is quickly get on my bandsaw and chop them up. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Right, we're over here with the bandsaw. Now what I've done is I've got a little wedge which is about the angle I want my new cuts to be, and all I'm going to do is, can we see this? Here we go. I'm going to use that as a guide. I'm going to put my new angle on there, and I'm literally going to run this through and cut so this is sharper. So here we go. There we go. Right, I'll just do that with all of them, and then I can give that a bit of a sand down. Excellent. Okay, that's them all sharpened. Okay, much more useful for killing vampires. Right, still waiting for them to dry. More tea. Right, so the paint's dry now. All I've got to do is sand it down. Now I could either use some normal sandpaper, which would take forever, or I could use one of these pads with sandpaper, which would take forever, or I could use one of these squishy pads, yeah, which would take forever. I could use my random orbital sander, but that might take a long time. So what I'm going to use is my oscillating belt sander, which if you see my previous videos, you'll know exactly what that is. It's over here. Let me show you. It's hiding in this cupboard. So I'm going to use that. Exciting, very exciting. Okay, so I've quickly run that around the belt sander quite successfully. Only took a couple of seconds, and I've ended up with it nice and clean like this. Obviously the letters look a bit dull at the moment because they're full of sawdust. So let's give those a quick blowout with my airline. Looks much better, doesn't it? Okay, so let's do that to the rest of them. Yeah, very nice. Right, the rest of them. Okay, so they're all sanded now, and I've added an extra taper onto the end here, this side and this side, so it goes into the ground even better. Now we just got to give it a coat of some protection, which I'm going to use this teak oil because it's for outside, and make sure I get extra teak oil on the stakey bit because that's actually going in the ground. Okay, just going to put that on with a brush. Get on with that. Right, so that's it, they're all done. I've had 2 coats of teak oil now. I'm going to let that soak in a little bit and maybe give them a 3rd coat just to see if I can make them last another 5 years. It's just to show you that you can salvage some of your old garden stuff. If you're interested, I could show you how I made these in the first place. Fairly simple. I've made 2 or 3 sets of these now. And giving them away as gifts. Obviously it's a nice personalised gift to give to someone who's interested in gardening. Okay, so that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.